Hello, sports fan. This is Stephen Hill for Sports Choice Plus, and I'll bring you a very special breakdown. I'm going to be covering the top 5 players that have the most to prove in 2020 in the NFL. Before we get right into that, I want to make sure you go ahead and subscribe. Make sure you're subscribed so you can get all the updates on the YouTube channel each and every time we make the updates. And I want to debate with you in the comment section every single week. So without further ado, we're going to get right into the action. Coming in at number 5. This is very interesting because you think about where he was just 2 years ago, probably a toast of the town in Minnesota. You're looking at one Stefon Diggs and his move and his transition to the Buffalo Bills. When you're looking at what just this quarterback has done as far as Josh Allen in Buffalo and getting a tool like this young receiver in Stefon Diggs, the sky's possibly the limit. When you look at Cousins in Minnesota and what he was able to get out of Diggs, you just begin to salivate because Josh has that humongous arm and he's able to go deep with a lot of the passes. And you're looking at just what he can do if he's accurate enough under that McDermott system in Buffalo. And you're seeing, hey, how can Stefon be used in different things in Buffalo? You look at the talent around him. He has more of a core wide receiver with a little, I would say a little less than what Thielen had. But when you look at the route running of a lot of these guys that he has on his team, the sky's the limit for Buffalo. And I think that adding Stefon Diggs gives them the over-the-top playmaker, and he can make a lot of noise in the AFC, but you have to ask yourself, is Diggs the number one receiver that we think he can be? My answer is yes. I think Buffalo can take that next step. I think that with Josh, you have to work hard, extremely hard, if you're the quarterback of the Bills, and you have to get these guys out of mediocrity and get them into contention. I know it was just one thing making the playoffs. You got to push and break through from just making the playoffs. So you're going to end up like the Bengals or the Texans for so many years where you just get into the playoffs and just get eliminated in the first round or so. So I think that at number 5, you're looking at Stefon Diggs, and you want to monitor what he can do if he can stay healthy playing in Buffalo with that lead receiver title for the Buffalo Bills. And coming in at number 4, Philly special, Nick Foles. You look at him just 2 years ago, was the toast of the town in Philadelphia. He got paid in Jacksonville, big money, and then all of a sudden Minshew showed up. And then once Foles got hurt, he never indeed got his job back. And when you're looking at him losing his job, he got shipped out of town as well. You look at the Bears giving up a little to nothing to get the backup quarterback, and that's going to be key because if he can push Mitchell Trubisky, this could be interesting to see what the Bears get out of this. If Mitchell doesn't rise to the occasion, you can see Nick Foles playing fairly early. But I think what this is going to do is create a big competition in Chicago. I think that Nick has what it takes, but we've seen Nick be lackluster at times. We've seen Nick in the past not really bring his A game. We've seen him in Chip Kelly's system, Andy Reid's system in Kansas City and Philadelphia. So you're just looking overall at what we can get from Foles. Do I think that Foles has the dog in him to be able to compete with Mitchell and to get the top spot? I believe so. But I don't think he's going to get the job done in Chicago. It's just they haven't had a quarterback in God knows forever. And I think that Foles is not the quarterback for this system. I don't like the wide receivers. And I think that Foles is going to have a hard time producing, no matter if he's the backup quarterback or starting quarterback with the wide receiving core that they currently have. Now, the Bears defense is pretty tough. It's pretty good with Khalil Mack and company. But they're going to have to carry this offense, I think, this year as well as they've done so many times in the past. And I don't know if Nick Foles or Mitchell is going to have enough to get that done. Coming in at number 3, Trent Williams. You look at the loss of Joe Staley in San Fran, and he was beloved. So many different years. He was a fan favorite of the 49ers and just what he did to elevate those offensive teams. And then when you look at San Fran now, they lose a cornerstone left tackle to get a left tackle in Trent Williams, who hasn't been playing football in over a year. You look at just what he can do when he's on the field, when he's healthy. Trent Williams is a monster, and you look at how big he is, how quick he is on his feet, a freaky left tackle athlete, if you will. The longevity that he had in Washington, they're going to need that in San Francisco. Jimmy G has to protect his side at all times. So if Kyle Shanahan got the most out of him when he was with the Redskins, I think he can do that in San Fran. I think when he comes in, he's just going to have to fit in. You have a lot of good guys that are playing already. If you look at Jimmy G, you look at Kittle, you look at the defense when they've got side of the balls, you look at Debo, the wide receiver, you look at so many different players that they have on that team, Nick Bosa. So I think the 49ers have the nucleus of a good locker room that he can just come in and fit in and not have to be a leader of all these different areas or an offensive line leader or anything like that. They have veteran leadership up and down the side of the ball as far as offensive line, defensive line, etc. But Trent's really going to have to earn his paycheck in San Fran. And I think they're going to take a small step back because with the pandemic and things going on, they're going to have to speed it up, dial it up, and get back rolling because they want to get back to a Super Bowl. They want to wipe that taste of a Super Bowl loss out of their mouth. And I know Kyle Shanahan's eager to do it. He's going to get Trent up to speed with a lot of their playbooks. So I think Trent's going to have a big impact. I think they're going to lose a couple more games, but they're still going to be in the playoff hunt. But that's important because you got to keep pace with Arizona. You got to keep pace with Seattle as well in that division. So that's my number 3 with Trent Williams with that. Coming in number 2. It's going to be a surprise to many, but Antonio Brown. If Antonio Brown can get himself together off the field, maybe we can see AB, number 84, on the field. I know much of his stuff is in the hands of the NFL right now with his current case. I know he's suspended for 8 games, but if AB can get himself together off of the field, I think that he's going to have a great season for somebody. You look at Seattle, you look at Baltimore, you look at so many different places that need a wide receiver, and they're just one wide receiver away from being a potential threat. You can look at other teams who may be the dark horses flying under the radar. They may not say anything. They want to swoop in and get AB. And if he only has to serve 8 games, I think it's a worth gamble. If you're looking at all these NFL teams with the COVID pandemic going on and stuff like that, I think they're trying to make sure they get the best possible players. And you're not going to see a lot of young guys get opportunities this year. I think they're going to go with wily veterans. And AB getting his hand on the ball could mean touchdown for some young quarterback. And last but not least, we know it's the obvious. Fill in the shoes of the GOAT, Cam Newton. Going into New England, understand that 4-12 is not acceptable. You have to understand you're following in the cleats of Tom Brady. You may be physically better than he was as far as being able to make the throws and being a little bit more agile and being more athletic. But Cam's going to have to produce on the field. You got to keep in mind, Belichick has a system, he has a way, and it's been winning for years with Tom Brady. 1 year without Tom Brady when Matt Castle produced. So you're going to have to come in and produce. You're going to have to get the starting spot first and foremost from Stitch. So it's so many things that I think it's going to be an exciting NFL season once we get past the initial hurdles and they get a bubble going. But I think that this NFL season is going to be one for the record books. And I like what I see from New England. So I think Cam Newton's going to be a good fit there. And I think that he's just going to use that old Cam Newton, use his legs, use his arms, will his team to victory to produce some good stats in New England. All you NFL fans, leave your comments in the comment section below. No matter your team, feel free, let's debate. Tell me, did I miss somebody? Did I get it right? Let me know in the comment section. And don't forget, subscribe to the YouTube channel so you can get all the updates every single week here at Sports Choice Plus. And until next time, good people, see y'all. Be safe, all right?